What's going on, guys? Okay, so a couple things. One, before we start this podcast, I just want to say, no, I haven't put out a video in a while. It's because this John right here, zoom in right here. This computer is a piece of shit, alright? It's a 5-year-old piece of shit, so I'm building a laptop. I keep saying that. I'm building a desktop. So, I've got a graphics card down here. Hold on. We got this. External hard drive. And then SSD card. CPU's in the mail. Homeboy has the rest. So, I'll get to it. Just, you gotta bear with me, because that's a piece of shit. Alright. That's all I had to say. What's going on, guys? My name's Cliff, and this is Higher Education's podcast. Almost lost it there. Today, I'm joined by
Q
and
Brian.
And we got a litany of things to talk about, and it's gonna be lit. So, first, I saw this meme on Reddit. It was like 2 back-to-back pictures. You guys probably saw it too. So if you guys didn't see it, the first picture is of Mexico, and it's a stereotypical Mexico shot you get. It looks hot. It's like an orange, tan, overcast on the whole picture, and then there's probably a guitar riff, like the old Western riff, right? You guys seen those movies in Mexico? Yeah. And then below this was an actual shot of Mexico, and it was just like life, nigga, like. Everything was just normal.
It's like a suburb. Got some like picket fences and shit.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? Okay, I guess I'm.
Oh, they got streets and a market.
Not even that. It was literally just the color. The color was the only difference. That's what blew my mind. I was like, damn, they really just put some like tan sunglasses over the camera. I was like, all right, action.
Mexico.
Yeah, I never thought about that because I guess I'm racist.
A little bit.
So. We don't have a big blunt to smoke, right? Where's that? I'm not done rolling it yet. So, while I finish doing that, I'm gonna play this video that it came up in my memories, and I was like, yeah, let's just watch it. It's a freestyle over Rap God.
Exact same way. I heard it just now. Dead
And below this one.
I'll do my best.
Hey, yo, just close your eyes here, folks.
Devastation.
Start the shit now.
All right, if I fall,
Yeah, just keep going. Don't worry about it.
I love her hype man too. Just keep going. Fuck it.
Let's go. Let's go.
I'm beginning to feel like I'm invincible. In school of hip hop, I'm the principal. And I'm on the rap floor, felt miserable. I'm about to put a mental attention to a pain. When my rhymes, I'm visible. Meditate every day, I'm spiritual. You're stable condition, I'm critical. I put it into you, but she's like, Danny, what are you saying? Well, what are you, a rap god? So what is something that god? How do you even fuck with the niggas when they all fry? Your brain similar to an iPod. You go in and you are not try hard. And when you do start spitting, you're flowing and throwing up niggas should go to the lifeguard. I don't know. Shut up, bitch. How many bars do I gotta spit? Just let a nigga know that I'm the shit. And it keeps calling me a prophet. None of them say that I got a gift. None of them say that the other niggas is swag. Because they so busy on Snapchat. But these niggas need a rap app. Because Danny's bringing that rap back. I said Danny is bringing that rap back. Why you want taking the cat?
Let's go.
You niggas kidding your flow. So shit is somebody should get a back slap. When I go and I don't read that. And with the beat, high jack. My shit different. You still don't get it. I think that it's time that I reach cat. Danny is bringing that rap back. Why you want taking the cat? Niggas kidding your flow. So shit is somebody should get a back slap. When I go and I don't read that. And with the beat, just got high jack. My shit different. You still don't get it. I think that it's time that I reach cap. I'm Danny the devastation. It's surely in the making. Flow I haven't beaten. It or might be in person. Satan is like God is saying it's the bacon. In my head would say I'm gonna make it. The other would say I can never. Nobody does it better. I'm sick with the process. I'm sick with the rhyme. Sick with the metaphor. Sick with the rhyme. Sick with the way I'm doing shit. And I'm gonna hit my flow. Hit none of the whole thing. Johnny, you're so lyrical. I'm so into you. When you spit, you give me a visual. Sometimes I think you're supernatural. I see the people coming after you. Then when you're shine, but it's your time. I'm sick with the punch. I'm sick with the nine. Sick with the metaphor. Sick with the rhyme. Sick with the way you flip the shit. And I make it all hit my flow. Hit none of the whole thing. I'm sick with the punch. I'm sick with the rhyme. Sick with the metaphor. Sick with the time. Sick with the way you flip the shit. And I make it all hit my flow. Hit none of the whole thing. Hickory, dog. That rapper, oh my God. He see me on Facebook, but he could never give me no hot. I guess that means that I'm hot. I guess that means that he's not. Somebody's Benny aboard mission. I see some rappers that think they're competition. They don't know music is your addiction. They're gonna have to make the final decision. Do they wanna have a head-on collision with someone that is as driven? You got the antidote to this rap shit. You are the prescription. You gotta take it back to the days you were all in the kitchen, chopping back and burning them, chopping back and burning.
Her eyes closed this whole time too.
She like, I gotta get in my zone. I don't want to look at me.
He even said it. He's like, you can close your eyes, bro. Give me that. That's about it. Nah, you killed it. I know that. So I was like, yeah.
I don't know.
That's why I shared that. I'm trying to get on her level though. She like,
But that was like so many. So a lot of it was like rap god flow, which was cool. But there were a lot of aspects of that that were just like different influences. There was like a whole part of that like kind of screamed J. Cole for me in the middle, where I was like, this honestly just seems like it could be like a J. Cole like bar, but I was like, I know it's not.
but it could be.
But then I was like, everything was like stuck to like the rap god flow though, and like the beat and shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say I really liked how, like you said, she kind of like almost drifted away from it, and then she like pulled it back.
She was
like,
versatile about it. Super versatile.
I'm trying to get on that level. Like I was even talking to my coworker about like I put on Jordan Lucas's Local Live, and he was like, "Man, I wish I could just sing to the words, but he's going so fast." And I was like, "Nigga, just look at the lyrics while you sing." And he is, and I was playing it. And I was rapping it too, just to Loki show off. And I could see him looking over at on my phone on YouTube, and he was trying to say the words, and I was like, "See, you got it."
Is he censoring himself?
What's up? Yeah, you know what? I wasn't paying attention.
Because that's honestly like the most difficult thing to do when rapping. Sometimes is censoring yourself. Just imagine like rapping, but like just replace it with any other one of the words. Just don't say one of the words in a line, and like it becomes incredibly difficult.
I mean, I said it.
I just don't say the
lines. I did a whole
lines.
podcast by myself that I actually ended up scrapping, but I said it on that podcast where it's like, I can't fight every single white person that says nigga or nigger. Like, I'm gonna just die before that happens. So, like, I mean, just keep it in your group. Say it to yourself. What was I saying that in reference to? I don't know.
Keep it in your group. I think that's how the KKK formed. They got a whole group for it.
What was I? Hold on. Say it to yourselves. Keep it in your group. I don't know what I was saying, but yeah.
Say it to yourselves.
Because, I can't be like... Because I was like... Like when you in the car and you rapping, I'm not just gonna not say nigga. No. So like I'm not expecting them to be by themselves in the car and be like, nigga.
Imagine like driving down the highway with the windows rolled down and you actually like rapping along and somebody just rolls up next to you and be like, what the fuck did you just say?
See, one, I'm not gonna judge you if someone rolls up and is like, yo, you shouldn't be saying that. But me, I'm gonna be like, you killing it.
Hey, keep doing you.
Keep doing you.
Just
you killing it.
Be careful.
Yeah, exactly. Be careful, because I'm the one, but also I could have not been the one.
I am not the one.
I could have been the other one.
No, because I am not the one, alright?
I was about to say, yeah, let's not put the connotation. No,
I'm not the one. It's like, I'm the one right now.
I am the one. I am the one.
But somebody else cannot be the one.
But what I'm insinuating, what I'm insinuating.
I'm the other one.
Because then that insinuates.
I'm not the one. I guess I'm the two.
All right. Speaking of off the tracks, I want to talk about the Toronto's Raptors parade. Because, they won the NBA championships, which is funny because this nigga LeBron not in the playoffs for 1 year. Anyway, it's just like so.
Hey.
What?
That means Philly's not that bad of a team.
Listen,
the team that beat us went on to win the championship.
So we have a as long as we can beat Toronto and then beat Golden State in the finals. Yeah. Six.
Yeah, that's what I was saying to Ben, is that we're the second best team and potentially.
We're the second
Let's
best East Coast team.
Let's run it
back.
Run it back.
Yeah, let's do this again, fam.
So
it's ridiculous.
Because we gotta beat dude. Okay, so the Raptors won, and like any team that wins, the Patriots. We have a bunch of them. They have a parade. They had a parade, right? And so the parade was gonna start somewhere, go through the city, and end up at City Hall.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens. I'm not gonna be like, oh, the parade got derailed, but the parade was a disaster. First of all,
it was a disaster.
Someone popped off with guns.
Oh.
And like in Toronto. But before that happened, it was still a disaster. Let me tell you why.
It's blunt fact.
Let me tell you why.
Do you know that there are
The
more?
city of Toronto is atrocious at handling parades.
There are more tigers in captivity than there are in the wild.
That's sad.
Tiger facts.
Get out of here with these sad tiger facts.
Yeah, dude gets man.
Hey. So basically, first of all, the parade had no barriers on the route up there. So it was like the whole like I wanted the outfit, you know, what's it called? The convoy of players were slowed down because everyone's like trying to get up and touch them and shit, and like, oh, plant guy gave Kawhi a plant.
It's Coactus?
No, not that big job.
The Kawhi cactus.
It was like a tiny plant.
Nice.
I don't know why it was. I do know why it was tiny
Because they were like,
but dude, along the parade route, everyone was packed in like sardines.
There weren't cars in front
People
of them,
couldn't
were
move. No, there weren't cars in front of them, but there were people in front of them, and they had like a little not plow thing, but a front car that was like get the fuck out the way.
so that's what I'm
So
saying.
there
Like
were
they
no
were on the
barriers.
street,
Yeah.
right? Oh fuck,
Yeah.
fucking idiots.
Imagine that shit happening.
I was about to
People
say-
were literally right up next to it.
You imagine that?
I was about to
You got
say, I know
Broad
you've never been, you know, to a New England Patriots parade, but when Philly had their parades, you know,
Well,
they
no,
barricaded off the
I'm
streets.
gonna get into Philly. Don't worry about that. We gonna get there. So it's essentially like
Philly did it right.
I saw a post and someone was like, I can't believe people are just smoking weed and my 2-year-old child is here with me at the parade, or my 3-year-old
What?
child, or my 5-year-old child's here at the parade. It's like, nigga, we packed in like sardines.
Hold on.
I don't
First
know what
off,
to tell
not
you,
only
like,
that, you drink
brought them
beer.
here. Brought them there.
Everybody drinking beer around us, fucking
Yeah,
having
it's about
alcohol.
the parade.
It's
Yeah,
legal.
it's
Get
for
the fuck off my.
football. Like,
Get out of my face.
Oh
It's
my
like,
god.
that'd be like saying, oh, like I can't believe there are people drinking and hollering and hooting at a football game. Like,
They're having a
it's-
good time.
like,
How
it's
dare
football.
they?
And it's like, I heard people be like-
it's basketball, you know, like
They're like, oh, well, you know, like people started to hop on the train and they were like, yeah, I hate when stoners smoke in public in front of kids. And granted, I would. If I'm smoking and a kid walks by, I'll try and ghost it. I'll blow the smoke away. I respect that.
Totally.
And then someone came in the comments and they're like, you guys don't understand this parade situation. Like, you don't understand a parade. Have you ever been to a parade, nigga? Like, there is no space.
Yeah.
Like, maybe the Macy's Day Parade when niggas trying to stay home and eat turkey. But at
No,
every other
there's
parade,
still no space there.
yeah, when the ball drops, that's not a parade. Anyway, it just don't be no space. So,
Acting like
you know,
sardines.
if I can drink a Coors next to
Yeah.
your kid, I'm gonna smoke a blunt next to your kid for
Yeah,
sure.
100%. Because
Like,
I'm
if it's
trying to-
as legal, then yeah.
I'm trying to enjoy my New Year's just like I'm trying to enjoy my parade. You know,
Yeah.
like everyone else.
I don't know Canadian laws, but I know that in America you can't drink in public, and you also every state that's legalized cannabis recreationally, you can't smoke in public.
Pretty sure it's legal to drink in public in Canada.
That'd be lit.
Well, then it should be able to smoke in public. I don't know why they would make it
Well,
any
weed's
different.
legal recreationally too.
That's what I'm saying. So if it's
like,
as
where's the gray area?
if it's as legal as alcohol, why do they have a problem with
It's
it?
because I do get it. You know, I can't ever be like, hey, you know, like I don't know. I feel like there's a line between being a concerned parent and being paranoid, and I feel like that line of don't smoke drugs near my kid is like fair to be. That's not really that paranoid. That's concerned parent. It's right there on the line,
Yeah.
but I feel like that doesn't cross the line.
I mean, maybe just
I feel
move.
like, or at least I feel like the
It's
people
a
that
whole
were
area.
shouting behind that first dude don't cross the line, but the first dude who was actually at the parade, understanding the situation, was like, "Nigga, what did you want us to
What's
do?
going on? Yeah, like,
Want me to
I
go, like?"
couldn't go anywhere, so why can't I smoke my blunt right here?
And so by the time the parade gets downtown to City Hall, it's like 3. People have been there since 8. So let me tell you what's happening at City Hall, because people have been there since 8, and they're sitting there, and so when I say I was going to talk about the Eagles. During the Eagles parade, I didn't go there because I'm not an Eagles fan. Cause fuck y'all. But what I heard was that they had.
Should punch you in the
Listen, I was telling my coworker this. You know what? Actually, I like Nick Foles. Go Jags. No, actually, fuck the Jags. I like Nick Foles, and I was talking up Carson Wentz. But and the Eagles fans that I'm friends with that are logical, we can have a conversation. And if you're an Eagles fan and you're logical, I can have a conversation with you.
Always do.
It's the rest of those niggas. It's the Mary Sues and Pats that were like, what is football in 2017? And then 2018, they were like, go Eagles! Oh my God! Like, fuck those niggas. Those are the niggas that I'm like, fuck
I
you.
got you.
You don't even know
I
what
got
football
you,
is.
man.
Tom Brady sucks a dick.
Who was your quarterback last
Bitch,
year?
who was the Eagles' offensive line? Name one of them. Give me a last name.
Cox.
Jesus Christ, man.
I'm sorry, I'm 12.
Oh my gosh.
So, the Eagles parade.
That person, he's on the team.
Eagles parade had like a video of Doug Peterson giving the speech or whatever. It had the fucking replays of the game. what's it called? I almost said Duff Beer. Bud Light gave out free beer. Everyone got one free beer on some bullshit, actually.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
sorry.
like the time we went to the comedy special and they were like, free beer. And we showed up and they were like, free beer.
Here's
Singular, nigga.
One Narragansett.
Oh, nigga, we rolled up and I saw they were pulling this beer out of a box. And I was
It wasn't even a Narragansett. The box said beer on it. It was just a red and white box that said beer.
Yeah, it is. Okay.
It's the
All right,
most
here
hipsters
is my $5, sir.
You want a donation from me? No.
Damn, but yeah, so the Eagles parade, they were prepared. They had some shit to entertain the fans. In Toronto, they had TVs and they had music sometimes. And they had
Sometimes.
pictures
Should've had
of
Drake.
like highlights and like screenshots. Oh no. The TVs also had still images of
What?
Drake.
Still images.
Just of Drake.
Of Drake and of highlights from the game and of pictures of players.
Why would you have
But
still
no
images?
because it's Toronto. And then at some point
They ain't
like,
got video in Toronto.
the
They only
John,
they
like,
just got still
the
pictures.
speaker unplugged, so they had to replug it. It was just a
Oh my
fucking
God.
disaster. And it's
Because they've never
hilarious.
been through a parade
But-
before.
and you know what I was thinking too, because Philadelphia and the Eagles won the first time.
Okay,
But they threw a parade.
we're
I
Phila-
remember
we're
going to the Phillies
Philadelphia,
parade.
Though. Yeah.
I remember going to the Phillies parade, so
Yeah.
they're already like, nigga, we went to the World Series like how many times? Like,
Yeah.
They won in '80. They won NBA championship sometime around there as well, and they also
Yeah,
won
they got
2
NBA
NHL championships. I'm pretty sure.
Plus, I feel like Philly as a city, we've definitely had other parades besides like sports.
oh shit, what am I
Yeah.
thinking?
The Mummers Day,
Parade.
the
Yeah.
Mummers Parade,
That's
and
what
It's
then
like the biggest
the-
parade in the country.
Like we know
We know we're doing.
we know
so-
how to
yeah.
fucking throw
Fair.
parades.
But we also pretty much only parade down Broad Street, which is a giant street. If you
Yeah,
think
it's
about
the
it,
easiest
it's
pretty
6
easy.
No, and, like
lanes.
the Toronto's parade route was like curving and shit.
Yeah.
So like even if it was a straight line, even if people were in the way, if it was a straight line, it would have been fine. But the fact that it's curving and you have people, it's like nigga move.
It's like you got fucking people doing cross traffic too. It's a funeral procession. Like, oh, we gotta wait for
Come
him.
on now.
There's a funeral. We gotta wait.
It is funny as shit though. Since we're speaking about parades, I remember, not the last Super Bowl, but the Super Bowl before that, the Falcons. Bill Belichick was at the parade, and he was like, "No days off," to a bunch of niggas that took the day off to go to the parade. They're like, "Yeah, but except for this one, but yeah, and maybe the next one because I feel sick, but yeah."
I'm gonna take a couple days off because like
like 4 days off.
life ain't all about work. I mean, why do you think I do sports? I only work one fucking day a week. Like, fuck you.
Hey, come on now.
Yeah, what do you mean though? Nigga, Bill, we know you're proud of it. So speaking of disasters, I want to talk about how Boeing's being sued by like 200 pilots. So basically, there were 2 accidents linked to the Boeing's new plane, the Max plane. And I really don't want to butcher this because I was just reading up on it. So essentially what happened was that there was a competitor plane for Boeing, and they were able to do some shit that Boeing was like, yo, we gotta be on that level too. But they didn't really want to like redesign a whole new plane. So they put the engines, you gotta correct me if I say this shit wrong too, because I just see you nodding and I'm like, no, I think I need some. Yes, no.
Airbus.
I mean,
Airbus is their
you're in the right
competitor.
direction,
You're good.
man.
Like, I don't.
it's like
There's
you're
not
doing
much
great
more
so
information I
far.
could have given you.
So
You're great.
Airbus's upgrades were a newer, a bigger engine that was 15% more efficient. The problem is that for Boeing to do the same thing, to add that bigger engine, it would be basically scraping against the ground.
yeah,
So
because the wings are like here and the Airbus's wings are like here because it's a more lifted plane.
So what Boeing does instead of redesigning an entire aircraft is just put the engine forward more and up more. So yeah,
On my forearm right here.
Think about it.
Instead of right here,
Yeah.
it's like here.
Yeah. Think about it.
did she open it? Did you open it? Is that what she said? I think, or I may hit up the group chat because she needs a ride. Anyway, so so they moved when they moved the engines upwards and forwards, it caused a problem where when the when the airplane would take off and it would go to nose up, it would start to stall. Now, instead of completely redesigning the aircraft, they implemented a new
These visuals.
they're implementing a new software system called the MCAS.
Oh. The MCAS.
Which
MCAS.
basically, whenever the nose goes too far up, it pulls it back down to level it off so it doesn't stall. Except they didn't tell anybody. They only gave a 2-hour iPad course to new pilots, and only some of them got them. And nowhere in the MAX brochures did they say that they have this new system. And
So here's
this
the funny
isn't
thing
just...
about that system is that I was reading that, and again, I have very virgin knowledge about this topic, but I think the competitor, I forget their name again.
Airbus.
I think they have something like that, but whereas Boeing uses a 2 laser point system, Airbus uses 3. The third one's a failsafe.
True. And here's the thing, though, is the accidents are not being argued that a failure in the system caused the accident.
They're being pinned on the pilots.
They're saying we weren't properly trained on this system. We didn't even know that this exists and how to turn it off. So if we're in an emergency situation, like we need to do full throttle at a higher pitch than what is necessary, you know, like I want to be able to do that. I don't want it to correct for me. And if something malfunctions on the aircraft, causing it to have a high, like, nose up for whatever reason, and then all of a sudden your plane just throws you down, it can be really disorienting if the pilot doesn't know this system exists. And that's the biggest thing that pilots are upset about, because this isn't just any aircraft. This isn't like, oh, it's just an aircraft. This is the most common aircraft now because of Boeing's innovations that they said that they made, and because of the promises that they claimed that they could fulfill. They sold so many of these fucking airplanes that they had to ground them. Flights were being delayed. That's what I say. Flights were being delayed so much when these news got reported because they had to fucking ground so many aircraft that they had to pull other aircraft out of storage and repair them just so that they can maintain their flights.
Think about this too, because they said they were suing for non-money reasons too. Nigga, can you imagine being in a plane and then you get pulled down because it's like, oh yeah, the people who made your plane didn't tell you about some shit.
Yeah,
I would never be able to get in another plane again trusting that that plane is properly built.
No. Well, it's not even about it being properly built. It's that the pilots had no idea how to, use it properly because they had no knowledge of it. So it's like, it does come down to the manufacturer, though. Like, you're completely right in that aspect. And yeah, I'd 100% be fucking scared as shit.
Yeah. So it's like, bro, and the article I read said it's unprecedented, but it's really like, Boeing has done this before in the past with the F1 racer. What was his name?
Niki Lauda.
Niki Lauda owned an airline company, and Boeing made their planes, and one of his planes crashed, and what happened was a piece of the plane had came out, and then Boeing was like, oh, well, if that happens, it's correctable, so the pilot made a mistake. And dude was like, I know my pilots. My pilots are trained. Like, all right, so let me see your data. And they're like, we ran these tests, and it says that, like, every time you do this, every time the thing opens, you can close it. And so he's like, let me run the test. And they're like, no, let me run the test. And they're like, all right, you got it. So he runs 15 tests, and none of them he's able to correct himself, and he ends up crashing.
In the simulator?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so he's like, all right, release this data. And Boeing's like, no. So he has a press conference the next day. And he's like, all right, listen, like,
this is what's going on.
I'm going to take 2 of your pilots up in a plane, and we're going to dispatch this thing and see if we can close it. And Boeing was like, all right, well, don't do that. And then they released their data, and their data says that it is possible if you do it within 4 seconds. So you would have to know that this piece is coming undone.
And be right there and grab it and, like, pull it down. Is it the door?
It was
the emergency exit?
Or...
Yeah, so May's at a house that has a bunch of kids there, so she doesn't know how late she could stay there too. Is it cool if we go scoop her and then come back here and finish up?
Yeah.
I was about to say, I don't know how, like, we're like 20 minutes in at this point. I told her we could leave in like 15, 20 minutes. I'm going to open that in a minute and see if that's cool. She's probably going to be like, no, you need to come and get me right now. What'd you type in?
I just went back to the article that said.
Huh.
Or not article, the Reddit thread.
Yeah, it's an article. Like, there are Reddit posts, but then there are Reddit articles.
Yeah,
Like, when somebody puts together an entire, like, thesis and fucking, like, analyzes the dumbest of shit, like, I don't care if it's, like,
no.
if it's, like, a Powerpuff Girls, like, fan fiction or, like, fan theory or something like that. That's an article at that point. Like, when they got 9 sources with, like, images and, like, they've got, like, a whole, like, 2 to 7 paragraphs, that's an article. People make Reddit their fucking lives sometimes.
Yeah. That's all they have.
It was a thrust reversers were being deployed.
Okay.
And so the data revealed that if when the thrust, what is it called?
Thrust reversers.
Thrust reversers are deployed, that you have 4 seconds of bringing them back in, knowing that they're being deployed. And I mean, yeah, Boeing basically after the nigga like was like, I'm gonna take me and 2 of your pilots and we all gonna die just for the sake of being right. And then Boeing was like, all right, yeah, you got it. Don't do that. You're not just gonna let niggas die. But it's crazy because it just shows that like niggas up top are like, someone was saying that this was a precedent set with a drug company that sold this drug. And so the drug ended up killing a bunch of people. What happened was the drug actually worked. It was supposed to stop something. And it really did work. But the problem was it was overprescribed and a lot of people died. And so it was recalled.
Wait, so it really didn't work?
It did work.
Okay.
But it was overprescribed, and to the people it wasn't for, it killed them. Or some of them, at least.
Damn.
And so basically, the company gets sued, $6 billion in losses.
Yeah.
So they
$6
had
billion?
billion.
Yeah.
So they had made 11 in sales.
Jesus Christ.
So, no.
Stuck him out on top, maybe.
No. They were already up 6 million, and they made 5 million in sales. So they basically broke even with the profit, and this caused like a chain. Hey, we're a podcast, so I'm not really held to any like standard of correctionality. So if you always want to challenge me and look it up, you can. But yeah, so basically it set a standard for companies of being like, let's just break even. People might die, but like money. Let's just make money. And Boeing, it feels like Boeing right now is really just like, just get these planes out. Let's just make money. Because they even were like, hey, you don't need to train on this simulator. Like, well, it's going to save you money. It's the same shit.
So the instructional video of the iPad. Yeah. It's fine.
And it's a sticky situation because they were really trying to push the fact that they didn't have to retrain people because that was the major selling point of Airbuses. So if the people who were promoting it really honestly did believe it, it's like the stickiest situation where who is the person who's at fault? Where it's like
the one that was wrong. If you do some math and you believe your math is wrong and your math is wrong, or you believe your math
no,
is
but
right,
they knew it. That's what I'm saying. They knew that this problem existed, so they tried to do a workaround. Who wasn't informed? Were the people who were selling these aircraft informed of this issue? And they didn't inform their buyers, or
is complicit.
That's what I'm saying. Whoever was informed, like that's who the big culprit is.
Yeah, I think. Oh God. Yeah, it just sucks. Like, well, let's talk about something that also sucks. Bella Thorne's nudes got leaked. Did you guys hear about that?
She released them because somebody was threatening to release them.
Yeah, so basically, she goes with I don't want to say everyone because I don't think we're all out here wilding like that, but I have nudes of myself on my phone. So she does what we do, and she took a picture of herself because you be looking fly. You be like, get that angle, by the head with the, and so you take it.
I don't think I've ever done that angle before.
Yeah, I hit it with the angles. So I mean, and then you send it to your person you sending it to, your loved one. Or, the one you love for the night, whatever you do. So you send it to that person, and then you forget about it, You maybe delete it from your phone, but your phone has the cloud. So, this nigga went through the cloud, saw pictures of Bella Thorne, and was like, hey, Bella, I'm gonna send these out unless you do whatever. And so she was like, I'm gonna take my power back, and she released the shit. And she said, it was like a screenshot of the text with her in it, and I was like, I'm taking my power back. I'm not gonna let you make money off it. This is me. Bill Burr actually raised a really good point. Do we go after that nigga now too? Like, we don't just forget about it because she released it. Don't we still?
We still
find that nigga.
Yeah.
He's a fucking asshole.
Because here's the thing too is how this can't be the first. And if it is, then like what was he gonna do after this? He gonna keep searching through the cloud? Like he didn't just stumble upon the cloud.
Right.
He's like, oh yo,
Well,
it's
'cause, like,
Bellathor's cloud.
They
Yeah,
arrested
like-
like one of the dudes from the fappening, and he was only responsible for like 3 or 4 girls. And they were like, "Yo, but what about these?" He was like, "Yo, collective, teamwork, creepy ass teamwork."
Teamwork makes the dream work.
So I stand behind Bella.
Yeah,
Yeah, you do.
100%.
Whoopi Goldberg doesn't. You shut your mouth. Whoopi Goldberg was on The View, and she was saying some shit like, if you never would have taken those phones as a celebrity, don't take those pictures, because if you take those pictures, they're going to be on your phone, they're going to go up to the cloud, and then the world can see them. I was like, what?
She like get a Polaroid like I do. That's how I said the best titty pics out.
Mail that nigga, yo, pussy.
Mail him yo pussy.
Jesus, it's just like...
Sign it with a kiss.
I thought I liked Whoopi Goldberg. I like Sister Act. Rat Race. She was a Rat Race. But like, Stella's got her groove back. I just feel like...
She in that movie about the bees or something like that with Dakota Fanning?
Aquila and the Bee.
No,
Secret Life of Bees.
I think that's what it is.
I don't fucking know. Obviously, I don't know. But yeah, so Whoopi Goldberg was talking some shit, and Bella was like, I was supposed to go on The View, but now I'm not going on there. I'm not trying to go get berated by those mean people. Well, I don't even know who's on The View. I just know they mean niggas. Alright, so I saw this on Reddit too. Right? There's probably a white guy that's adopted and born in China. There's probably a white guy that was adopted in China and raised in China, but he speaks English with an Asian accent, and everyone just thinks he's an asshole.
Oh my god, why he's a white dude?
Yeah.
He's a white guy who was raised in China
Oh my
and he
God.
speaks English with 100% Asian accent, just like a Chinese accent.
Yeah.
So like he has like the R's and stuff.
Yeah.
Like R's instead of L's. That's the biggest thing is because in Chinese language they don't have that L sound that we have. It's like hello. They don't have that. They don't have like the L sound. So the thing that and it's about how the tongue moves. Like I forget how we form an L sound, but their L sound that they form, the only thing that's similar to that is how we form an R sound. So it only comes out like that.
Oh, I got you.
Because we need to understand that like we only say sounds as sounds because they're letters. But in another language that might not exist. So that's what the biggest language barrier with Asian languages trying to speak English when they can't, understand or they can't be like understood is because they just don't have those
I
things.
thought you were gonna say cook, and I was like, them niggas can cook.
Well, like for instance, like white people saying quesadilla because ia is not a thing in American or in
Do you
English
say
language.
tilapia or tilapia?
I don't know how it's pronounced. I think it's tilapia.
Tilapia.
Let me get that
Oh
tilapia.
my god.
Einstein Bros.
Oh, bagels.
Alright, so when you guys walked in, I was listening to Jagged Edge. I was listening to their song called Let's Get Married. And the chorus of that song always geeks me. Because it goes, we ain't getting no younger, we might as well do it. Which is probably one of the worst reasons to get married. We ain't getting no younger, we might as well.
Like, come on.
Like what we about 40?
Why not?
Damn, 40.
You better not be like 25. Like, baby, we ain't getting no younger. It's like, nigga, I'm gonna get older for sure.
I mean, if you have 40 and that's your justification, that's valid. Be like, I'm not getting younger. Well, okay, sounds good.
Alright, but if you're at like 35, it's like, we not getting younger. It's like, nigga, I got a couple more years.
What about L?
What?
Huh?
Never mind. Keep going.
This is alright, so let's talk about Cardi B getting indicted. Why?
Why she got because of her premium Snapchat?
Yo, first of all, I'm about to get me a premium Snapchat. I'm about to get me an OnlyFans. Directed at all 60-plus-year-old white ladies.
Only 60 plus white ladies.
Wow, yeah, that's where the money is.
I don't know. I think it's the 0+ dudes. I think that's where the money is.
I mean, I could do both. Money is money, wherever it's coming in from.
I think it's a
That's why
12-year-old plus
you
dudes.
can be my manager. You said 12-year-old what?
Yeah, because like kids with their parents' credit cards, all the way up to
Jesus.
old ass dudes with fucking,
No, I don't- alright,
nothing to lose.
All right. So Cardi B got into a fight at a strip club, right?
All right.
So she got charged with some shit, and so now she's being indicted on a felony. Which is funny because she was offered a plea deal and she said no. So I think she just has the money. She gonna try and beat it. But like I read a Snapchat article a while back about the girls that like apparently Cardi B instigated the fight too. So like yeah, she was performing at BET and in the middle of her performances she kept being like, "I'm not going to jail," which is like it. I hope you don't, but if you do,
not.
that's gonna be like played. Cardi B goes to jail. I'm not going to jail. Cardi B goes to jail. So yeah. It's about to be Cardi behind bars.
Oh my gosh.
Did you guys like that?
Cut the tape.
Alright.
Oh, that took me a smooth 30
done.
minutes.
Yeah, we're out.
That took me a
Came
smooth
back for
30
this.
minutes. Came back to this. Alright, well, Cardi B on some other shit. And speaking of some people who want some other shit, nigga, I mean, first of all, shout out Dr. Marijuana Pepsi Van Dyke, right? Shout out to her. Her parents were on some other shit naming her that.
Fair.
What?
I mean, first off, it's not even a word.
What? Marijuana's a word. Pepsi's a word.
Okay, first off, one is a proper noun, and the other one...
Is it a word?
Well, it's not a name.
Yo. Okay, so real quick, I was at the corner store. And these
But
niggas were
marijuana
talking.
isn't even a word.
I was like, hey, yeah, all right, well, so I was at the corner store and these niggas were talking, and it was like, yo, is Daenerys gonna restock the shit? And the nigga was like, nah, she ain't doing that. And it was like, all right, we should go tell Daenerys to do that. And I was like, her name is Daenerys.
Stoneborn of House Targaryen.
How old is she? She works at WoW. How old is she? What did they read the books?
I mean, she could, yeah. Book comes out in 99, right? 90, it comes out in the 90s, right? Kid could have been born. Listen, a kid could be born in 2000 and work at
Said,
Wawa.
this is a really good fucking book.
Yeah.
Goddamn. So, yeah.
I'm regretting it right now, being like, fuck.
Dr. Pepsi, or Dr. Marijuana, basically got her PhD, and she did her dissertation on having a unique name while being a person of color, which, if you ask me, I think she's the perfect fucking person to write that dissertation. Like,
Yeah, okay, wait. So, A Game of Thrones, the first book, was written in 1996, so
Yeah.
that's as old as...
damn, yeah,
us.
that's like maybe a little bit. Okay, you got it. Daenerys, she got it.
Stock the shelves, bitch.
Do
your fucking job.
Make sure that coffee right. But yeah, so
Definitely.
Dr. Marijuana Pepsi wrote a dissertation on having a unique name while being a person of color, and like apparently she knocked it out of the park.
What's her PhD in?
You know, I'm not sure.
Is it like a language PhD?
It's in leadership for advancement of learning and service in higher education. Higher education's pop.
Get out.
That's why you need a theme song. Just roll credit right now.
That's the Simpsons roll credit. All right, so good shout out to her. And someone on Reddit was saying that like she was a not counselor, but like what's it called when you're under the teacher and you teach?
TA.
I had the second letter right. So yeah, she was there and like
So
she
the
literally
personal
had
assistant is
her
a
like,
teacher's assistant.
all the TAs had names on the seats and hers was just Marijuana Pepsi. Like nigga, it's that.
Nice.
This is my name.
Nice.
And so someone was saying he was sitting there and he was like, I'm in this seat, but I think I belong in the seat that says marijuana. So yeah, I can't believe her parents, yo. They was like, let's name her after our two favorite things. Hey, Pepsi cocaine, get down off that bunk bed. All right, that's a little too. Oh, second favorite things, marijuana and Pepsi. All right, so did you guys hear about the statues in Nashville that got vandalized?
No. Damn liberals.
So, there is a monument in Nashville that's supposed to be honoring the soldiers that fought in the Civil War for them.
Nah. I see where this is going.
Someone spray painted, they were racist on the monuments.
I did see a picture of that.
I mean,
Is that a dig?
They were.
I think. Wait, hold on. Are you sure? Wait, hold on. Wait. Are you sure? Hold on. Wait. Are you sure? Are you sure this was a vandalism? Are you sure this wasn't like self-pride? Like they were like, we wanted this. We wanted it to say that they were racist. They were like us.
It's just like niggas. Why are you? What do you mean? Well, first of all, all right, you can have your monuments, I guess. The only reason I don't have a problem with the monuments is because it's a waste of taxpayers' dollars to take down those monuments.
What?
I get if someone comes through with a wrecking ball and then the city's like, what happened? I'm fine with that. But I don't want my tax dollars to go to that. I'm just better off being like, treat this as a historical lesson. These niggas did some gross shit. And I mean, yeah, it just. I know
I
that's
feel
not
like-
how they're treating it. They're treating it like, yeah, that's my motherfucking hero.
I don't know, because I feel like we can always just relate this back to any other person in history. Like, imagine if they were just a bunch of Hitler statues still chilling in Germany. They'd be like,
They were
can
Nazis!
we fucking...
But here's the thing.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, can we fucking get rid of
Robert
these
E. Lee
shits?
didn't even want monuments, though.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like there could be a monument to the Civil War. There could be a monument to the battle, to the whole thing, to the whole war itself.
Yeah,
But like, why are you forever encapsulating these people
because well,
who
first of all,
fought on the opposite side of a war?
it's already up there. Like I said, if someone went through and just
A race war
bulldozed
too.
every race, not racist. I mean, basically every Confederate monument in the country, I would be happy. But I don't want the city to pay for it.
I just feel like it's so intertwined with racism and with like slavery and racial prejudice in this country that
It
it's like
100% is.
that you just can't be like
100%
you
is.
can't compare it to any other civil war. You can't be like, oh, countries go through civil wars all the time. You know, they keep
Who
it's
do that?
every country has pretty much gone
I
through
know,
a civil
but
war.
Who does that? Who says, oh, well, you know, France had a civil war, so they're just like us. It's like, what? You know, Algeria, like, what? Get the fuck out of my face.
That's what I'm saying, because it's like, because
Who
if you
does
wanted
that?
to say that, be like, well, France has had so many different civil wars over the years, and yet they still keep, you know, old statues of their old president or
It's
old
'cause
presidents, old
France was
kings
on
and
some
shit.
savage shit. They was like,
They-
get that nigga,
Head!
bring him down here.
Head!
He's on-
Head! Give me the head.
Give me more
Yeah.
heads. All right, so
Also, the thing with
Oh,
that
go
is, like, the statues are probably already created while they were kings or, like, shortly after they became things. This is stuff that people created
they threw that
after
shit
the
up in
Civil...
like it's like what
Yeah.
is it 1920? Yeah, let's put a
Like,
statue up.
I was about to say,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. These statue makers must have been fucking hard at work, being like, we gotta get these pumped out before the war's over, or else it's just gonna be
No.
racist.
Have you heard the conspiracy that the original like sketch for the what's it called, the Statue of Liberty, was a black woman, and America was like, fuck no.
Really?
Not really. It's a conspiracy, so I can't say really.
I was about to say, is the Statue of Liberty a white woman?
It is. It's a green woman.
Yeah.
I was about to say, it's a French woman. I thought
So,
it was.
well,
I thought it was just
copper
modeled
when it
after.
was
I said it
delivered.
was a conspiracy. I didn't say it was concrete.
It was copper when it
This
was delivered.
Yeah, its original color is copper, but it's oxidized. That's what copper looks like when
so
it
it's not
oxidizes.
a green woman.
It's like a green
See,
penny.
You're always trying to take some shit from
It's
us.
like
Y'all
a
purple,
brown
y'all
woman.
green.
Ah.
I always knew Oscar the Grouch was a green.
Anyway, I thought it was a.
That's why you live in the trash.
Wait, no,
can.
hold on.
Bitch, I have hope.
I
Have you
think
seen that thing that was like Sesame Street is adding a homeless
I
character for the
know.
first time ever, and someone's
But-
like, and Oscar the Grouch has
Hold
been
on.
out
Like, what the fuck
living.
is he supposed to
Yeah.
do?
He's like, am I fucking?
Wait,
What the
ever
fuck
been-
am I?
You've seen the episodes where he's in his trash can. That nigga got a house, so you can't really
A
be
trash house.
You can't really be like as Oscar in a trash can with some house. Like, damn, they really not gonna be on the homeless Sesame Street, and he on the street like, nigga, you got a trash can, you got a lid.
No, nigga.
Whatever
You got
that
a
means.
lid?
Yeah, no.
You got a lid?
No, motherfucker, no. That shit's trash.
But he loves trash. Oh, I love trash.
No, nigga.
Actually,
Anything
hold on,
dusty,
hold on.
dingy,
Hold
and
on.
dirty.
Hold on. Apparently, the Statue of Liberty was modeled after an Arab woman because the statue's designer, some French dude, was enamored with Egyptian pyramids and monumental sculptures.
So it is a black woman. Hey, shout out.
I mean, like Middle Eastern.
Whatever, it's a woman
It's
of color.
I was about to say, it ain't a
It's
white woman.
Black women of all colors. Like,
I feel like that's really ironic considering immigration things right now.
Bernie, you're tired. You're yearning.
But it's an Arab woman.
Yeah, no, because we're like, fuck it. Here's the.
Don't swallow those niggas.
niggas.
I'm sorry.
Imagine how, like, just think about how pointless the idea of Ellis Island is because now that we have computers and airplanes, we're like, first off, we don't. It's like, first off,
All the planes
this
with
shit's
immigrants need to land in Ellis Island first.
it's like seaplanes. Every other one dies.
What about the B-planes? Anyway, speaking
Oh,
of niggas
fuck.
that want us to just...
All right, I'm done.
Go back
All right,
in the
I'm done.
past.
We're going.
Wait,
What?
B planes like in the B movie
No.
where
No, I said seaplanes.
yeah, and he said B planes.
Yeah.
But think about
Or D-planes.
in the freaking B movie. What
JJ
fuck
the
is that
jet
called?
plane.
No, we're not talking about your brother.
What? The B-movie, what?
The B movie when
Yeah,
Jerry Seinfeld B lands the plane. It's a B plane.
Wow, true. All the B's bees. What?
Yeah.
I watched that movie too much to not know.
Wait, hold
I do know
on.
it.
Bees need planes, but they fucking fly.
No, they don't need the plane,
is
but they need to bring all the
they
flowers
knock
back
they
to
knock
New
out the
York.
pilot. They knock out the pilot on the flight over, and that's some
Yeah,
shit.
it's a whole.
It's a whole thing.
The only time I've
You gotta
ever-
be there.
You really
Have
gotta-
you never
Right.
seen the Bee movie?
The only time I've ever seen the bee movie is on YouTube, but every time that they
Oh.
say the word bee, it
It
speeds
gets
up.
faster.
So
yeah,
I've
yeah,
only
yeah,
ever
I've
seen-
that.
That was the weirdest.
He really did,
They wanted to
though.
smash
It's like
that
the
shit.
end
She
of
was
the
trying
movie
to
too.
hit too.
Yeah.
She was trying to hit too.
She was.
Yeah.
What do you
Bee
mean?
incest.
What do you mean? What do I mean, nigga?
She was like, "Give me that stinger."
All right. Okay.
Bestiality.
I'm going in my transition. No. All right. I draw the line at this.
Give me that
Come
stinger.
on.
You
what?
sting me, I step on
Are
you.
we being too
All right,
crazy
so-
for you?
Actually, there's this whole
Jesus
SNL
Christ.
skit from like the
Jesus.
80s where they there's a bunch of guys and they're like, Alan's buzzing off, Alan's buzzing off. And he's like, no, I'm not. And he's like, yeah, you are. You got honey on your hand. So yeah, no.
What were they? Bees saying?
Yeah, they were bees. I said that in the beginning.
All right. So, speaking of niggas that want us to go back in the past and forget what happened, I want to read this letter that the slave owner got from the slave. So he sent his former slave a letter. It was like, hey, the
There's a
war's over.
postcard.
I need some help. You know.
He's like, these fields are really
I'm
fucking
running
hard
low
to.
on hands. You know, to be real with you.
And I tried to get out there myself, and that's fucking
For
work.
some reason.
Like, I ain't trying to do that.
Yeah.
Do you know how hard it is to be in these fields,
Like-
fam?
So it's so hot.
Every day,
Oh, yeah.
in and out.
I should have paid those niggas. So he said, come back to me. I'll pay you. Like, I should have paid you, so I'll pay you.
It's like, I already got a house and everything, so like.
And the slave sends back the hottest shade. Like, you know how you go in the shade and you try and cool off. Like, no, it was 1,000
Lava.
degrees. Lava. Was lava 1,000 degrees?
No, lava's a lot
It's
hotter.
hotter than that then.
Lava's hotter than 1,000 degrees.
What's your letter?
Jesus, what the fuck? Where did this thing come from? You said you didn't roll one.
I know I said that.
You lied, second.
Somebody lied.
Yeah, you bitch.
Well, I'm getting the semantics of it.
Alright, you got another incense. I'll go later.
While you do that, I'm gonna start reading this
It's like,
slave's letter to the master. Damn, that first hit got me to the head. Alright, so Dayton, Ohio, 1865. To my old master, Colonel P.H. Anderson. First of all, that's a hell of a slave owner name.
Yeah.
Big Spring, Tennessee. Sir, I got your letter and was glad to find that you had not forgotten about old Jordan. I'm happy to hear that you wanted me to come back and live with you again, promising to do better for me than anyone else can. I've often felt uneasy about you. I thought the Yankees would have hung you long before this for harboring Rebs. I suppose they never found out about you going to Colonel Martin's to kill the Union soldiers left by his company stable. And although you shot at me twice before I left you, I did not want to hear of you being hurt, and I'm glad to see you're still living. So already, this nigga is doing the most. He is the most, like turn the other cheek ass nigga. Like, I like, fuck you off the bat. First of all, nigga. So then he goes, on to the paper and he says, you'll offer me my freedom. As for that, I say there's nothing to be gained, as I got my freedom papers in 1864 from the marshal, the Department of Nashville. Mandy says she'd be afraid of me going back without some proof that you're sincerely disposed to treat us just and kindly. We have concluded to test your sincerity by asking you to send us our wages for the time served. This will make us forget and forgive old scores and rely on your justice and friendship for the future. I served you faithfully for 32 years and Mandy for 20. At $25 a month for me and $2 a week for Mandy, our earnings would be $11,680. This nigga asked for back pay.
dude, that's a lot of fucking money.
How much
That's
money?
I
like,
translated it to $11,680.
okay, hold
which
on.
right now, I mean, I don't want to say
They-
only because
they
I don't
used
have
to-
that, but it's $380,000. He said, give me my back pay. That's not a lot, but that's a chunk.
Is that what he's trying to get? That's probably what he gets paid now. That's what he's probably referencing it off of. Because all I'm thinking to myself is, they would honestly buy slaves for probably less than he's asking for 1 month of pay.
Oh, God.
Like, I don't know how much. Like, how much would they buy?
Oh,
like
$5.
that's what I'm saying. Anytime I've heard like auctions on TV or something like that, it's like $5, $10, $15 for a slave, and it's just like
give me $11,000.
$11,000. Oh my fucking.
$11,000.
11,000. What? Hell yeah, man. You
He's
gonna go back
like,
and
do you
work
think
too?
I've ever seen $11,000?
He said also add interest for the times our wages
Jesus.
cut back from us. You can deduct what you paid for our clothing and the 3 doctor's visits for me and a teeth pulled for Mandy, and the balance will see that justice is entitled. Please send the money by Adams Express in care of V. Winters, blah, blah, blah. If you fail to pay us for our faithful labors, we can't trust you. We trust the good maker has opened your eyes to your wrongs, which you and your fathers have done to me and my fathers, in making us toil for you for generations without recompense. Here, I draw my wages every Saturday night, so I'm getting a paycheck like a weekly. But in Tennessee, there was never any payday for the Negroes, any more than the horses or cows. Surely there will be a day of reckoning for those who defrauded the laborers of his hire. So he kind of like threatened the nigga with hell a little bit. It's like, give me my money, or you eternal damnation. So, P.S. Say howdy to George Carter and thank him for taking the pistol from you when you were shooting from your old servant, Jordan Anderson. This nigga murdered this dude with words. You think the slave owner got the paper back
And
was
math.
like, I can't read.
No, not only that, but he's like, is that math correct? I don't know. I can't do math.
Wait. Did they have the same last name?
What?
I mean, potentially a lot of slaves
they
were
did have
named.
the same
A
last
lot
name.
of slaves are named after their
Say what my
masters
last
like
name
that.
gonna be, nigga.
Also,
You
his
told
name
me.
is Jordan. Do you think his real name
No,
like
it was spelled like J-O something. It's Jourdan. So that's not his real name, right? But
That's what I'm
I don't
saying.
know why they spelled it all like biblical, like. Alright, so yeah, he served him up. I wish he could read so he could understood how disrespected he just got.
He's like, read this to me, and he goes, I don't think you want me to.
What's it say? Honestly, I can't read.
He's like, he takes it to somebody. He's like, I don't know what 3 of these words mean in this first
This
sentence.
nigga said recompense. What?
This motherfucker told me who couldn't read or write.
So, I
He's
was
like, I found books, motherfucker. You should find them too.
They was in your house. I carried them bitches. All right, so I was watching on Snapchat that Piers Morgan was interviewing this psychopath. This dude. All right, so like when he was young, he thought his mom was the biggest bitch. You know how white boys do? They like, Mom, they just want you to die. You just like, you know.
It's time to die, Mom. What? Sorry, I took away your vape pen, Billy. I'll give it back. No.
So yeah, this dude was like, they wanted his mom to die, but for real life. But then he was like, she's not gonna suffer enough. So he goes, well, 12. I'm gonna kill my 4-year-old sister. That way I can take away both her children at once.
Nigga.
So waits till mom's at work, convinces the babysitter to go home, and then he beats and stabs his sister till she dies.
What the fuck?
Calls a friend, then he calls the police, and the police come and arrest him. So he's been in jail since, and he's like 25. Yep, he's 25, and his parole's coming up soon. So Piers Morgan is gonna go interview him, and they were saying that he's from Texas. He looks hella fucking ugly, but he has an IQ of 141, so he's hella smart. But he also looks so fucking ugly. Like I was like, how you gonna be smart and ugly? Like that's never mind.
That's
Never-
me.
I said never mind.
That's Einstein.
I said never mind. I realized.
That's
what I
Isaac
said.
Newton. Name me one hot-looking smart person.
Me. All right. So the dude. So they were like, all right, listen. You get an hour from when the interview starts. That's it. You gotta sit between a glass pane window because he's too dangerous to be in front of him. And I'm like, this is just a fairly ass nigga. Like the worst he's gonna do is lunge at me, and then I'm gonna just punch him in the face.
It's been in jail for a while.
Probably been a solitary confinement because he's still considered a danger. And they were saying how he's like a true sociopath.
Yeah, so that whole...
But his mom visits him.
That whole lunge across the table turned into your life being ended.
If it's me
I don't
against a
know.
psychopath, I think
Is he not
my
chained
will
up?
to kill is as high as his will
Is
to
he
kill.
not chained up? Could he not put him in handcuffs? Give me that personal, like, real...
I-
Even
if
Charles
I-
Manson had a face-to-face interview with somebody.
And the nigga only 25, so...
And that motherfucker
he was saying
was
that,
like...
Not that dangerous.
That motherfucker had free range of the room, and he was, like, using hand gestures and shit, talking about, like, demons coming out of
I
the
think it's
sky.
fact that maybe it was Piers Morgan in Texas was like, well, they got a British nigga coming here, so, like, we don't want him to die on our turf, because they don't got hands over
I guess
there.
that's fair.
But yeah, so...
Now do they want him to make him look puny, be like, he's behind the glass like a...
How scared of this ugly ass nigga. So they give the interview and he was saying how like his mom still loves him, and Pierce is like asking his mom like how, and she's like, I don't know how to stop loving my child.
It murdered your
And,
other child out of spite because it hated you.
Here's what Piers Morgan's was like, as a parent, you really don't know how to answer that question until it happens to you. And I was like, I feel you. I really do understand. But like you're saying, you killed my other son. And so she was saying that she has another son. And she's like, listen, like, I love him. I've forgiven him. But if it comes to it, me and this son will just dip.
Oh, she's got a third son.
Yeah. And she's like, me and this new
She's
son
okay. So
will
she's like,
literally just drop off the face of the planet.
if
you
I
get
see him
paroled.
coming at him with a knife, we're gone.
Because he goes to the interview and he's like mad smooth and really unsettling. And Pierce is like, so what happened? And he's like, I wanted to kill my mom, but I wanted to cause her more pain than that, so I killed my sister. I could take away both her kids. And it's like, nigga, alright, damn, like you just said, fuck the filler. Get to the canon, Jay, nigga. This is what happened, this is how I did it. I was like, oh goddamn.
Oh man.
So yeah, it was just crazy how like chilling he was, and he was trying to play up the camera like for parole, and Piers Morgan was like, "Are you trying to play me and play parole?" And he was like, "Nah." And then Piers Morgan hit him with the, "Do you know what love is?" And he was like, "I mean, I think so. Like maybe I felt it that one time." He was like, and he was like, "Do you even love your mom?" And he was like, "Nah, like I don't know. Like I just told you I don't even know what the shit is."
No.
And then he said some shit where he was like, he had to admit that he still had the urge inside of him, but he was like, if it ever starts to get out of control, I'll remove myself from the situation. And Pierce was like, so you admit that rage would still be inside of you, which means you would still be a danger. And he was just like, yeah, but he got annoyed that he was being questioned.
Well, yeah, because
And the
that's
rest
a
of the
parole
interview's
question that
be
they're gonna
released on
ask him.
Thursday.
Yeah.
So he's really playing it up for parole, and
Right,
Pierce is like,
right.
nigga, you're not about to just play me.
No,
Fuck you thought this was.
Fuck you.
So, yeah, I hope this thing goes away forever. Alright, so.
Give him the
last-
chair.
Oh.
Zap his ass.
Yeah, just fry. Alright, so the last topic, fry. Or Fire Squad, nigga, just be like,
Fire Squad.
Just send him to Firefly.
they were saying, what we
Or
talking
send him to Fire Festival.
Firefly. I came back with syphilis. Alright, so, the last topic I want to talk about is really quick. It's about these two German vloggers, right? So they're married. They go all over the world, bike places. But they want to go to South Africa. They want to bike from, what's it say? Germany to South Africa.
Hold
So
on,
they
hold
asked
on,
the
hold on.
internet for £10,000 or euros.
They wanna bike
From Germany?
from Germany, the country,
Yeah.
in Europe.
They're gonna hit a
Wait,
Africa?
to South Africa, the country.
Tandem bike.
There's not like
Yeah.
a town.
So they got tandem bike across
Tandem
the
bike.
ocean?
These aren't like towns that
That's
are
why they
like
need
10
to-
miles
Well,
away
why
or
do you think they
something.
need €10,000. They need
What?
to stay in
To
hotels.
what?
Fuck hotels. You need
Fuck that.
what hotels do you
How
think
the
are
fuck
gonna
you get
exist
across the
in
ocean?
like?
How are you getting across the
You just
water?
do land to Europe, and then when you get to England, you just ferry over.
Hold on,
right?
no. First off,
Fly
Germany is in the middle of Europe. You
So
go
then
south
bike-
to Italy.
Oh, you go to Italy.
You go south to Italy,
way
then you
more
take
ocean.
then you can take a ocean. It's a sea. You could take a ferry across the Med.
Semantics.
Why would you go around it? If you did want to go entirely
Because
around
you're
it,
fucking biking. If you're gonna bike, the majority of the trip should be a bike, right?
no, you
not
don't
a
bike.
bike ride.
You
It's
don't
a
bike
gym,
from
it's a
Germany
gym.
to
If,
South
like,
Africa.
If like
Not-
75% of the trip is a boat ride, you didn't just bike.
no,
to
it'd be
South
like
Africa.
5% of the
Take a boat.
trip would be a fucking boat ride.
All right, so they need.
I want you
$10,000.
to Google Map search Germany to South Africa on a bike.
Oh, we're not doing all that. You gotta do that on your phone. It's gonna be like 35 hours.
What?
Well,
35 days? 35 weeks, nigga? Like, excuse me?
You're gonna hit the bike option and Google's gonna be like, nigga, what?
What are you fucking talking about?
What's the apps? That should say not possible.
Well, if you were to walk, it would take 97 days. So it's got to be less than that, right?
That shit say not possible.
They said, please give us money. So
If you were to drive, it would take 7 days and 7 hours. The best bet is to go from Portugal or through Spain, south across the Med, and then down.
Okay,
That's
so
the
wait,
fastest
you gotta
route.
take
go
a ferry,
from
don't
Germany through, what's it called? Through Spain.
You got to take a
Portugal.
ferry across the Med.
Right?
So yeah, right.
That's not
Around
bad.
England. I was kind of right.
Take a week.
England is fucking up here,
Let
bro.
me see.
England is a fucking island.
Oh, alright, well, yeah, you're right. Okay, so anyway, they're like, give us some money so we can go on this trip. And then it also comes out that they don't work. Right? And that the mom works 2 jobs
Jesus.
and pays for their trips.
Mm.
So the internet was like, what? Fuck you.
Uh.
The internet was pissed. Yeah, they were like, why are you asking us for money? What the fuck? Get a job. Forget. Why is your mom?
Get your own
Why is she
money,
working
bitch.
2 jobs to send you on vacation?
Get your
She should
own
be on
money,
vacation.
bitch.
If she working 2 jobs, she need a vacation.
She just add a third person to the bike. It doesn't take that much. Just add one of those baby carriages. She didn't got to
Old
pedal.
people need to stop doing like vacations. Actually, niggas
Why?
be going to the beach and getting bit by sharks. Niggas be climbing Mount Everest and dying. Niggas be going on hikes and getting spun around in helicopters. They need to just
Yeah, because that's their fault.
Yeah, I mean, like,
It's not
they
their
just
fault.
try to live.
You're just more susceptible to some fuck shit happening when you're older. You need to just
Is that the
golf.
case?
Oh, so
Golf,
that
watch
lady
TV.
got spun around like that
Because she was
an
old?
lady?
She was
Come on
old.
now.
The
Come
the
on
helicopter
now,
was
man.
like, nah, she's old. Fuck
Like,
with
we
her a
can't
little
do
bit.
this.
I'm just saying.
Get the fuck out.
I'm just saying.
Like, if you're old and you can't swim out of the shark's way,
See,
that's fair.
yeah,
If you
like,
old and you're not paying
I
attention,
got certain rules. Like, don't be old and doing shit. Don't get on planes because sometimes the shit might tilt up. And then,
don't get on
If
planes.
the shit gonna recorrect, you know, like wait. See, see.
No.
Nah, you going on a
Get
plane.
the fuck out.
I mean, yeah, but this shit. I'm telling you, if anything happens while I'm on a plane, I'm not even gonna freak out. I'm gonna just be like, I knew it. I knew it. I'll be like, I knew it. And I'm gonna wake up and I'm like, let's get the fuck. If I ever have a dream while on a plane that's about to blow up, we getting off.
Yo. Speaking of side
I
tangent,
will buy more tickets. We're getting off.
We're getting off?
Yeah.
Oh,
Tim,
like before
like
we get
fucking
on the
Final
plane?
Destination
Yeah,
ass.
okay.
What if you do that and it wasn't that plane? It was the one that you rebought the tickets
I'm
for.
gonna be like, well, yeah, all right, you can't beat that.
So I had this.
I'm like, that was the right guy.
You
should-
fuck, man.
Yeah.
We should have
Do you
stayed on the
remember?
first plane.
Yeah.
That plane would have blown up.
Yo, do you remember?
It didn't, though.
Remember the other day? I was like, I had a dream, and I was like, I remember it. I had a dream last night, and guess what?
With all the little black boys and little white girls.
I knew in the dream that I was having a dream. I said I knew in the dream that I was having a dream. It was happening for like 4 seconds, and I was like, I was like, ah. I want to fuck something. It just sort of like, I was in like a Walmart.
My first thought was the fly.
Well, yeah, that's always your
I
thing.
fell,
But no. I don't know. I was like in a Walmart or something like that, and I was like, I'm in a dream. I know I'm in a dream, and then it just kind of went away, and then I just don't know what happened.
Yeah. I remember I had dreams like it's literally first person, and I'm like, nigga, it's not me controlling it. It's like third person.
Can't do it.
It's like playing a video game you can't control. You like, nigga, what the
I feel
fuck?
like sleep paralysis.
See? Low-key be an asshole in my dreams, critiquing my dreams, but like some shit happened. I'm like, well, how the fuck did that happen?
The
Alright.
fuck was I supposed to do here?
What's our next topic?
So before we get out of here, we're gonna do one gotta go.
All
Alright, so we're gonna do desserts.
Okay.
Ice cream,
All right.
birthday cake,
Okay.
brownies,
Okay.
chocolate chip cookies, chocolate bit cookies,
Chocolate dip
bookies.
bookies.
Said all them C's.
Yeah, seriously though.
But nah, Ice cream, brownies, cake, chocolate chip cookies.
What you say, Blood?
One that day. Nigga, you heard me.
So what you say, Blood?
I think ice cream is probably the
What you say,
finest
Blood?
for me.
Yeah, ice cream's the one that stays for me too.
Yeah, I think birthday cake can go.
Ice cream's delicious.
Whoa.
It depends on the birthday cake.
Yeah, it's ice cream cake, nigga.
Whoa, you didn't say that though. You didn't fucking say that. No. You said birthday cake.
Birthday cake. Nigga.
No, you said ice cream and you said birthday cake. You did not say ice cream cake.
Okay, so what? You still could take it off the board, nigga. So
No. I thought ice cream cake is different. If that gets added, it's a whole different spectrum.
Alright, what? That was cake.
Not really.
No, it's fucking ice
Alright,
cream.
So let me change it to
It could be a birthday
all
cake.
cookies, all cakes, all ice creams, all brownies.
All right, brownies. Brownies aren't that fire. There are so many different cookies. There are like 3 brownies. There are so many different ice creams. There are like
You got
3
fudge
brownies.
brownie, you got peanut butter brownie, you got a red velvet
I
brownie.
agree, brownies gotta go.
You got cupcake brownie.
You know what you're just
muffin
naming?
brownie.
You know what you're just naming? You're naming brownie versions of the other fucking shits.
Yeah, yo.
You're literally naming brownie versions of cake,
Alright.
Like,
brownie
if you
versions
put-
of
if you
cookie.
put a cookie on a brownie,
You
I would eat that
brownies.
shit.
I can make wheat cookies. I can make wheat cake.
Alright, brownies, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Brownies gotta go.
The brownies gotta go. Alright.
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
Also, which one of them both of them have the
Let's
webs
just-
coming out of their
alright, well,
hands?
let's just say this right now.
So Andrew Garfield built his website.
Andrew
That's what I'm
Garfield
saying.
versus Toby.
That's why I like.
Alright, so go back.
Oh,
rewind.
Andrew Garfield is the
Go
one
back
that
and
would
rewind.
leave.
Spider-Man's Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland.
Again, Andrew
Who do you
Garfield
think-
Has to go.
gotta go.
Yeah, Andrew Garfield. Still.
I disagree. I
He
think
was-
Tobey
he
Maguire's
was-
gotta
he was
go.
Here's the
way
thing, here's the
too
thing.
cool of a Spider-Man.
They're all really
No,
good.
he was a
but they
good
all lack
Spider-Man. He was a bad Peter
really major
Parker.
things, right? I feel like. What were you about to say?
Okay, so my opinions on this are extensive. Tobey
We can go
Maguire.
back and back.
Tobey Maguire was a great Peter Parker, but he didn't have the attitude, the sassiness, the sharpness, the
No,
wit
he was
of
a-
Spider.
But
Of
his
Spider-Man.
webs
He was
came
meek.
out of his arms.
That's not what
that
happens
wasn't
in the comic books.
I don't care. His webs came out
Okay,
of his
well,
arms.
I care about the
Listen,
comic
I'm
books.
gonna be honest. When I was a kid, I thought that was fire, but Stan Lee was like, "That makes him a freak. Why would he want?" He's like, it's supposed to be a science genius, and he built that shit himself.
He got bit by a
Alright.
radioactive
Yeah,
spider, and now he's Spider-Man.
He's nothing fancier
alright.
than a poor Batman at that point.
No, because he's got spider sense.
Which he can't spit webs, but he's got Spidey sense. That's bullshit.
And
Give him
super
powers. Listen,
and
he's not a
super
freak, but he's a
strength.
freak.
And
Super
regeneration.
dexterability, nigga, super agility. He can jump really high. All right,
All right, so Tom
What?
Holland's character clumsy as fuck.
So listen, here's the thing. I like Tom Holland, right? I think Tom Holland is cool. He's just a little too young.
See, here's the thing. I disagree. Spider-Man's a kid.
I
Always
feel like,
has been.
I feel like though, at the core of Spider-Man story, like there are a lot more stories of Spider-Man in his elder days than there are of him as a kid. If you look at bigger span, and it allows for the story to get a lot deeper. For instance, I think I haven't read a lot of Spider-Man stories, but one of my favorite has to be like the PS4 came out with the Spider-Man game, and it was really good. It's funny, the voice actor that plays Sasuke in the dub version of Naruto plays Spider-Man, and there's like a virus that goes around, and he gets the antidote for the virus, but there's only enough to either give Aunt May the virus or she'll die, or give it to the scientists so they can make more. And so he's sitting in the room, and he's talking to Aunt May as Spider-Man, and Aunt May is just like, you can fucking take off your mask, I know who you are. And then she's like, do the right thing. And it's just him, I feel like him as a kid, that would be like, I don't want to say like traumatizing, because as a superhero, as a kid, you go through a lot of shit, but I
I
feel
was
like
about to say,
a more
superheroes is
mature-
how you become a superhero. You get
Here's the
traumatized.
thing, though.
that's like a more mature decision to give someone later in their life, where it's like, you're like mid-20s and you're faced with like the many or the few. And
Here's the thing,
the
though.
few is like your fucking aunt, the woman that raised you.
They're not concerned about getting that deep yet. They're concerned about making as many movies as possible.
Yeah, no, I
And
know,
if
that's
they
fair.
start with a younger Spider-Man who still has to build and grow to that greatness that he eventually achieves, you start young and you make as many movies that way so you can show him growing.
I agree. But here's what I do like about Tom Holland, though. I feel like I like Andrew Garfield because, like you said, he was a more confident Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I just think he was too cool. And I feel like Spider-Man isn't supposed to be that cool.
Yeah.
But I liked him as Spider-Man.
You're
I felt
not
like
cool.
Tobey Maguire was nice as Peter. He was just a little too meek.
Yeah.
And I feel like I
feel like Tom
Tom
Holland is a really good balance.
Nice balance, but it's still like, I do feel like he is a little bit too young. And I did like the whole switch for we're not going to do the Uncle Ben death because we've seen it before, and we're just going to go with have Tony's take place of that. I do feel like though that's a core part of what drives Spider-Man to do things. Like, I love the scene where Tom Holland's trapped under the rubble and he's like, "I'm Spider-Man. I just have to push and do this and do that."
Here's the thing: they didn't take away the Uncle Ben storyline. We just didn't get to see them.
We didn't get to see it. It's implied.
Yeah.
I just feel like,
and that's why I didn't mind it, because it is still like a big
mind
motivation, and we just don't have to sit there and watch it again.
If I'm comparing everything, I gotta pull everything.
You ever seen a post that was like, I swear to, like, I was so happy walking into, or walking out of the new Spider-Man, I was terrified that if I had to see Uncle Ben get capped one more time, I was gonna die, and I'm like, oh.
So yeah, I don't know. I think, Andrew Garfield gotta go.
I think Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, Spider-Man 3 kind of ruins it. I feel like they just tried to do the most in that movie. It was like, we gotta get Sandman.
If we get rid of James Franco, we get rid of that anyways.
True. Alright, guys. So, you guys got anything to say before we finish this? Except for Miles Morales.
Buy Bitcoin.
Spider-Man. I think I said buy Bitcoin. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Miles Morales is the best Spider-Man. And then it's Tom Holland. And then it's Tobey Maguire.
1 second.
And then it's Andrew Garfield. Alright, guys.
Yeah, Miles Morales is pretty good.
What's the Spider-Man saying? I can't think of it right now. I know, I saw that. Oh.
Yeah!
Spider-Man.
There you go.
No, not that.
Spider Pig?
No,
Pig.
no.
Does whatever a Spider Pig.
It's not the response. The
What?
quote. The responsibility
Great
quote.
power
Comes great responsibility. Yes, thank you. That's my sign.
You say, you know the quote. And you know what? I do love the movie. I love it. I love Civil War. I love it. I love the scene when it happened. Retrospectively, I feel like we could have had that. Because when things happen and they're bad and you don't stop it from happening, that makes you what, nigga? What you just say the line?
You're like, I
What
keep
the fuck?
warm.
Say the line.
No, stop.
Say the line.
I was like, no, you know what it is.